I am 42 years old, and I can tell you right now at 42, post chemo, I went through chemotherapy last year for breast cancer, 16 rounds, it was intense. My skin looks so much better. I would say 10 times better than it ever did when I was in my 20s and my 30s. And I owe it all just to the skincare ingredients that I use. In my mid-30s, I started studying the ingredients, and I mean literally Googling every single thing I saw on the ingredients list on the back of a bottle. And I like studying them. I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering and a master's of science in nursing. That's a whole other story. But I have that little science geek inside me, and I started to really understand what I wanted to put on my skin, what I was putting on my skin, things that weren't so great that I was putting on my skin. And today I'm sharing that information with you. I'm gonna show you the ingredients I use and the products that I use that have the ingredients in them, when I use them, why I use them. I'm gonna just share with you everything. And I promise you, if you put this into your own routine with consistent use, you are going to be aging backwards or aging well, however you like to put it. So hi, I just want to say a quick hello. My name is Lauren O'Connell. As I said, I'm 42 years old. I'm a recent breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with stage 2A in December 2023, 10 days before Christmas. It was rough. And in 2024, I went through 16 rounds of chemotherapy, which was very intense. I had the toughest type of chemotherapy available for breast cancer patients. I lost all my hair, my eyebrows, my lashes, everything. My skin took a massive hit. And then I had 25 rounds of radiation, and luckily in November 2024, I found out that I am a survivor. I'm also the beauty editor at Cosmopolitan Middle East magazine, and I just put a video up on my Instagram account about how that job actually started in a haunted house. So if you want to hear a fun little story, head over to my Instagram. I have it tagged or linked down below, and you can see how I started that job. But you know what? When I was in engineering school, man, would I have loved to have been a beauty editor. I have a story about that too. I just posted it on my Instagram today. So I am not only the beauty editor at Cosmo, but I also am creating my own beauty brand. I've been working on it for 2.5 years, and it's going to be launching later this year. It's cruelty-free. Somebody sent me a message asking me that. Yes, it is. It has only the best ingredients. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I feel like it's gonna rock the beauty industry. I know it is. I just know it is. So I'm working so hard behind the scenes on that. In a little bit, I'll tell you something very special about the brand. I just want to get into the ingredients. And make sure you watch to the end of the video, because I'm going to tell you what to avoid. What to avoid is just as important as what to use. So make sure you watch to the end so you can just jot these things down. And if you need to right now, pause the video, grab a pen and paper. I'm so old school. I call myself a 1982 vintage, but I just love to write everything down. So maybe you like to do that too. So just grab a notepad, a pen, and a cup of tea, cappuccino, or maybe a water with some cucumber and mint and lemon. That sounds really good. I wish I actually had that right now. And just enjoy the video, enjoy the chat. So when it comes to ingredients, my first ingredient that I use is vitamin C. Now, you've probably heard vitamin C a million times, but maybe what you haven't heard is it's using the proper derivative. And I've tried many different vitamin C derivatives. It comes in just many different types. It's like saying, oh, I love to eat chocolate, but what type of chocolate? A chocolate bar, Godiva chocolate, chocolate milkshake. What is it that you like? I actually like all of them, but the vitamin C derivative that is so good is called tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate. Now, you don't need to remember that whole word. And if I had the time, I would put everything in the captions in these videos, like on the videos, you could screenshot it, but I just don't have the time. I don't do any editing to my YouTube videos. I just film it in one one go, cut the beginning and the end and post. That's honestly, I just don't have the time. I wish I did. But it's also known as THD ascorbate. So if you want to Google it, or throw that THD ascorbate into your favorite website for shopping, I'm sure a bunch of vitamin C products that have that derivative will pop up into it. I use this CEO Glow by Sunday Riley. The reason why I like THD ascorbate so much, this is the serum, and I don't have any makeup on my face right now. I have my lipstick and my lashes and my brows done, but I purposely left my face makeup free so I can just show you of me applying the products as I'm telling you about them. But THD ascorbate is incredibly stable, which means that when you buy it, you don't have to worry about it turning on you. If you buy pure vitamin C, sometimes you might notice that all of a sudden it gets really dark, orangey, yellowy in color, and that's because it's quite unstable. This one is extremely stable. It's also very small. It's able to penetrate deep into the skin because it's lipid friendly. And when it's in there, it converts to ascorbic acid. So you're actually going to get the maximum benefits. And those benefits are, it boosts collagen production. It's going to really smooth out those fine lines and wrinkles. If you have dark spots, sunspots, hyperpigmentation, it's going to minimize them. And it's going to give your skin just a beautiful glow. This is a wonderful antioxidant. It also fights free radicals. I put it on my face every single morning. I did not see a huge change to my skin until I started using the THD ascorbate derivative. It is the best one in my opinion. It's the only one that should be used in my opinion. And it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It also is less irritating. So if your skin tends to get a little sensitive to vitamin C, your skin just might love this THD ascorbate. So I will link everything down below that I use. Please note that if you do choose to purchase from what I've linked, I get a small commission. But you can, of course, just look at the same product, Google it, see if you can find it anywhere cheaper. I am I love a deal. So, it's expensive. So just shop around, see where you can find it for the best price. But if you do choose to use that link, just know I want to just be 100% transparent. So moving on from the vitamin C, another serum that's an absolute must-have, and this again is by Sunday Riley, but it's the Good Genes lactic acid. Now the ingredient lactic acid, oh my gosh, it's so good. If you are born in the 80s, born in the 90s, you probably grew up seeing the ads for that walnut scrub. You know which one I'm talking about, that we would just scrub and scrub and scrub on our faces to exfoliate. Well, that created tiny tears all over our skin. It completely disrupted our skin barrier, and it would allow bacteria to get through. So there could be acne flare-ups, blemishes happening after we scrubbed our faces raw, and it can make the skin very red. It's just such an old school, outdated way of exfoliating the skin. What you want to use is lactic acid. Now, this is going to be applied to the skin just like I'm doing right now. And what it does is it unglues the bonds between dead skin cells, and it causes them just to slough off. So what's revealed underneath is just beautiful, bright, fresh baby skin. And I use this all the time. I use it at night, and it is just a game changer for me in my skin texture, my skin brightness, and it's a wonderful, wonderful exfoliator. I also use it on my neck and my chest. What I try to do is everything I'm showing you, I always go from my chest up. You can do it from the nipples up if you want, but I treat my face the same. I treat my neck and my chest the same way I treat my face. And I didn't quite pick the proper shirt to be wearing today, but my chest is pretty clear and smooth, and I attribute that to these skincare products. I also always sleep with a pillow between my breasts, and it helps to prevent those lines. That's just a little side tip. So far we have the tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate, THD ascorbate, from the vitamin C serum, and the lactic acid. Oh, these are so good for the skin. If you use these and you're consistent with them, in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, not only are you going to see the difference, but what you're going to notice is you're going to be getting lots of compliments. People are going to say to you, what's going on with your skin? You look like have you had something done? You're just glowing. And it's these products. Sometimes what happens is when we see ourselves every day, when we're looking in the mirror, we just don't notice the changes so much, but all of a sudden it's when people start saying it to you, you think, all right, these are working. So next up is the retinoid that I like to use. Retinoids, once again, there's so many of them. There's so many derivatives. Retinoid is sort of the umbrella term, right? So think of the retinoid as the umbrella, and then inside there's lots of different derivatives. I do have on my Instagram account, you have to scroll pretty far back, but I have all these sort of cheat sheets to these ingredients and people love them. I'm gonna do them again. I'm gonna have that start popping out through my content. So follow me on Instagram too, if you're the type of person that just loves to screenshot things and look at it later on, or just save it on Instagram. But for retinoids, the umbrella retinoid, what I like to use is something called HPR retinoate. And it's actually hydroxypinocolone retinoate, but HPR retinoate is kind of like the THD ascorbate. It's just what you need to know. And it's so good because what it does is when it goes onto the skin, it doesn't need to go through any conversions to bind to our retinoic acid receptors and actually start working. Things like retinol or retinaldehyde, there's so many of them. Those have to go through chemical reactions in the skin. It takes a while, and then finally they'll start to see some changes. This one works just as quickly as prescription strength tretinoin, but it's much, much, much gentler on the skin. It's not supposed to make the skin flake or turn red. And it also, let me just make sure I get all the notes, or flake, that's what the one I was forgetting. And it's much more efficient than any of the other retinoids because it's able to just quickly bind to those retinoic acid receptors. One little fun fact about retinoids is they're always gonna come and be a light yellow. And that's just because the ingredient is yellow in nature. So don't be surprised if you pump it out and it's yellow. So every night I put this onto my skin. I try to press it in, but you know what? Sometimes I'm just so tired and I just kind of smear it all over my face. But this is my retinoid that I use. It's by Dermalogica. It's a dynamic skin retinol serum. It's expensive, and I mean, although I am a beauty editor and I have a lot of beauty content, I get tons of products for free. But the products, but I don't necessarily use them all. I like to try out the makeup, and sometimes I'll try out the skincare textures, the skin product textures, but I tend to just purchase and repurchase my own things because they're what work for me, and you can't just always ask a brand. You can't ask a brand to constantly be restoring your stash. So I understand, what I'm saying is I understand these are expensive. I pay for them too. And you know, I just sacrifice other things in my life so I can afford my skincare. But this retinoid, what it's gonna do, this HPR retinoid, what it's gonna do over time is just really smooth out the skin, plump it up, minimize those fine lines and wrinkles. Right now, I don't have any Botox on my face. I have not had any lasers in, I think it's definitely over 2 years. And I, don't have anything going on. I have some, when I smile, you can see I have these little crow's feet, and I do get some little lines under my eyes when I smile. But overall, I think my skin looks pretty good. And if you're thinking, okay, but why doesn't Lauren's forehead move when she talks? I don't know. It's my anatomy. For some reason, I don't move my eyebrows when I talk. It's just how I am. I have no idea why I'm like this, but just so you know, the eyebrows, there's no Botox here. I am gonna definitely get some Botox soon. I'm a huge fan of Botox, and I think, skincare does 90% of the job. If you wanna do injectables, lasers, go down that road, that's the other 10%. but there's no Botox on my face right now. My mom actually started me on a skincare routine when I was 11 years old. And that's because both my parents, they step out in the sun and they get golden tan. I'm the first child. And after they had me, they were like, what is going on with our baby? I was so white and fair skinned. I was very pale and I just repelled the sun. So my mom said early on, she knew she was gonna have to get me focused on my skincare. Otherwise, plus I have very dry skin. Otherwise she knew I would age very quickly. So 11 years old, I started my skincare routine. I mean, it was 90s skincare, so we know what that was like, but at least it got me in the habit of doing it. And I'm really grateful to her for doing that for me. So now there is another ingredient, it's called niacinamide. Niacinamide is in so many skincare products, and it's one of those ingredients that kind of does it all. For me personally, I like niacinamide because it helps to soothe red skin. Sometimes, you know, especially living in Dubai and in the industry I'm in, I go to tons of different events or, you know, I'm creating a lot of content and my skin is just raw, it's red afterwards and it just needs a break. So what I like to do is put on this. This is a face mask. It's by Summer Fridays. This is called their Jet Lag Mask. I love that name. Now, this is just chock full of so many of the best ingredients out there. But what I like to use it for is just that heavy concentration of, or I don't know if it's a heavy concentration, but I like to use it specifically for that niacinamide and then mixed with so many other wonderful skin soothing and just very moisturizing, hydrating ingredients. So I'll put that on my skin, and because my skin is so dry, it drinks everything up. So usually I'll just leave it there and let it just sink in, and I won't even take it off. You can take it off if you want to, and just leave it on your skin for a good 20 minutes or so. But it's just a wonderful, wonderful face mask to really nourish the skin, to soothe it, to soothe the skin, reduce that redness, and also just give it a wonderful drink of moisture. For my beauty brand, I have come up with something. The idea just popped into my mind a few years ago. It's always been there. It's always been at the back of my mind, kind of talking to me. And it's something that as a beauty editor and a beauty blogger, I hate the word influencer. You'll never see me calling myself an influencer, but it's something as a beauty editor and beauty blogger that I have never had come to my desk before. And I'm only coming out with one product, and it's self-funded. The brand is self-funded. I'm starting off with one product, and I think it's going to make some major waves. I know it is. It's something that I feel like every single woman that sees it will think to themselves, how have I not had this in my life? I need this. I absolutely need this. And it's just, in my opinion, it's very clever. It's a must-have, and it's something that you've never seen before, but once you see it, you're gonna think to yourself, how did I live without this? It's kind of like when you go into Target with the idea of buying one thing, and then you suddenly just see so many things you cannot live without. This is what I'm coming out with, is this times a million. So when I do have that link ready for my website up and ready to start collecting email addresses, I'll let you know. So peptides, oh my gosh, do I love peptides. There's a lot of different types of peptides. I can make a whole video on the different types of peptides, but essentially peptides are little messengers that tell your skin that it needs to smooth out, it needs to firm up, so it's gonna minimize those fine lines and wrinkles. My under eyes are my trouble spot, and you know, I have really dry skin, as I said, so this is the first to go. When I was in my 20s, I was already seeing grooves coming, and they were a little deep, and really to just get that skin to bounce back. I like this Summer Fridays Light Aura Vitamin C and Peptide Eye Cream. Peptides and my under eyes are honestly best friends, and they're together quite a bit, and I just love to put this eye cream underneath my eyes both morning and night, and really just let those peptides do their thing, smooth out those fine lines and wrinkles, and just really just give me the best looking under eyes I can possibly have at 42 years old. And I like to say aging backwards because I feel like I am aging backwards. My skin looks better than it ever has. My mindset is just so positive and vivacious, full of life. My body is getting better and better, recovering from that cancer. But you know, to me, I'm so much happier, healthier. I look better than I ever did in my 20s. So I feel like it is aging backwards, but you can also say aging well. It's the same thing. I love getting older. It's a huge blessing. I feel like I've gotten a second chance at life, and you're never going to see me not be grateful and not just honestly doing my best to live my very best life. So there's also ceramides. In all of these products I've shown you, I think there's probably been quite a few ceramides already. It's not just one product has one thing. A lot of them tend to have a lot of the other sort of supporting ingredients. But the ceramides act as, if you can think of a brick wall, the bricks would be the skin cells and the mortar between the bricks would be the ceramides. They're responsible for keeping the moisture in and the irritants out. And of course, as we get older, the amount of ceramides in our skin just starts to diminish a bit. So we can topically apply them and just restore that mortar. And they're they're important to keeping our skin looking plump, healthy, glowing, as great as they possibly can. So there's also this thing, I call it the trifecta of moisturizing ingredients, but there's three. There's humectants, there's emollients, and occlusives. The humectants, I'm sure you've heard of hyaluronic acid and glycerin. They're responsible for just pulling moisture in and keeping it into our skin. And in all these products I've shown you, I'm sure there's at least hyaluronic acid. Squalene is squalene's an emollient, but let me just rephrase that. But humectants, they're everywhere. If you happen to see a product that has sodium hyaluronate, that is hyaluronic acid. It's the salt version of it, which means it's dehydrated. So it can actually penetrate even deeper into the skin and you'll get more of a benefit. But hyaluronic acid we use all the time. Glycerin is in so many of our products, and it's really important as we get older to just keep that skin as hydrated and moisturized as possible, because it's just going to look a lot better, and more importantly, it's going to feel a lot better. There's also emollients. Now these are our skin softeners. Squalane is one of my favorite ingredients. I call it the fountain of youth. When we're in our 20s, from the time we're little kids up until our mid-20s, our skin is packed with squalane. That's why it's a natural moisturizing factor. And if you see little kids, my teenage daughter, she's 15, she's loaded with squalane. She just has the most beautiful plumped up skin. When we hit the ripe old age of 25, the amount of squalene our bodies produce begins to decline. Yes, squalene, it's called squalene. So what happens is we can topically apply something called squalane to our skin. It's the same thing as squalene. It's just gone through a few chemical reactions to make it more stable. Squalene on its own is quite unstable. And we can put this squalane onto our skin and get just that beautiful plumped up skin. I feel like good skincare is sort of like a smoothie. You have to have a lot of different ingredients to get that beautiful taste, and that's kind of for a smoothie, and that kind of works for the skin as well. I love, oh, this is the wrong one. Oh shoot, hold on. Oh my goodness. Well, I wanted to show you this Milk Makeup tinted moisturizer, and because it's just packed with I'm down here, because it's just packed with squalane and so many other great ingredients. I'm such a big believer in using makeup products that also have so many secondary skin benefits. You would be surprised how many skin products are out there these days. Makeup products are out there that just contain so many of the awful ingredients I'm going to tell you about at the end of this video. And you want to make sure, especially as we're in our 40s, we're heading into our 50s, that we're just using the ingredients, that we're using makeup products that just have incredible ingredients that are going to fortify our skin and not strip it. So I'm looking through all of my things, and of course I can't find it. I was going to put the product on for you on camera, but you know what, that's okay, because I'm gonna come out with a video on the makeup products I use and how I have this makeup routine that I feel like takes 5 years off my face, share some tips and tricks with you, and the products I use that really nourish the skin, that only contain the best ingredients. This is one of them. It's the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Gel Tint, so sneak peek, but I'll have that video coming out hopefully next week. And last of that trifecta is the occlusives. These are things like shea butter, and you're gonna find a lot of occlusive ingredients in your moisturizers. So I had 2 moisturizers up here. I feel like everything is just, oh, here we go, has gone kind of a little crazy, and I tried to be very organized before I started this video, but you know what, we're just gonna roll with it. So this is the Summer Fridays Rich Cushion Cream, and let me tell you, oh, this cream is just heaven for my skin. It really is almost like just this cloud I'm putting on my skin. It feels great. You're always supposed to rub up, I guess, to go against gravity. Someone told me that once, and it made sense, but sometimes I just do this. But this cream is just packed with tons of occlusives, and it has so many of those emollients as well as the humectants in them. Not to mention other great supporting ingredients to just nourish the face, to help, you could say, turn back the clock if you want to, or age well, whatever you prefer, throughout the day and night. I like using this cream both morning and night. Another one I'm a huge fan of is this Barrier Repair Cream by Drunk Elephant. This one is quite thick, so if you have very dry skin like me, you will love this. If you have skin that is oily to only a little bit dry, this one might be a little bit too much, but once again, packed with those occlusives, packed with so many nourishing ingredients, and that's really what's going to make the big difference on the skin. So what to avoid in skincare products? Number 1 is pro-drying alcohols. You will find pro-drying alcohols, and I shouldn't just say skincare and beauty. You will find pro-drying alcohols in so many products. It's shocking. It's things like denatured alcohol, it's called SD alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, regular alcohol. I do have if you scroll really far back on my Instagram account, you'll find sort of an infographics I made on all these different types of alcohols. I will put another one out on Instagram soon, so just more current if you don't feel like scrolling. But I label the ones that are good, the ones that are bad, and the ones that are neutral, because this is where it gets confusing. There's also some really good alcohols. They're called fatty alcohols, and they nourish our skin, and we just love putting them on. So maybe it'll be best if you just screenshot what I've put on there. But the pro-drying alcohols you want to avoid because they completely disrupt the skin barrier, and they can exacerbate fine lines and wrinkles, cause lots of redness. If you have oily skin and you use something with a pro-drying alcohol, you might think to yourself at first, oh my God, I love this. Like, the oil is not as prevalent on my skin. But actually, with a little bit of time, your body starts to think to itself, what's going on? I need to produce more oil. The oil's not on the skin. And so it puts your body into overdrive, and you'll actually have even oilier skin. So it's a cheap ingredient. It's a skin penetration enhancer. It can help ingredients go further down into the skin, but it's damaging your skin while it does that. So avoid at all costs. Oh, I forgot to mention my sunscreen. I'm sorry. So the sunscreen, you know what? I talked about this in previous videos. This isn't necessarily an ingredient, but it's something that you must have in your skincare routine in order to keep your skin looking as healthy and be cancer-free as possible. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know that the sunblocks or sunscreens can cause cancer. Let me tell you, with my pale skin and anyone's skin in the sun, skin cancer is, in my opinion, way more of a threat. So I use a chemical sunscreen on my face and body every single day. This is the Supergoop Play. It is packed with so many nourishing, wonderful skincare ingredients. There's nothing bad in here, none of my bad ones. And it really acts just like extra skincare on my body to keep my entire body soft, supple, and protected. Supergoop Play, it's a chemical sunscreen, and so that means it's going to be absorbed into the skin. And as the sun rays hit my skin, it converts them to heat and they just dissipate from the skin. I prefer chemical over mineral because mineral just sits on top of the skin, and I tend to sweat a lot, I move around a lot, and my skin, you know, once you sweat and that mineral sunscreen comes off, you have absolutely no protection. So for me, the chemical sunscreen is the way to go. So back to the things to avoid. You want to make sure that you always avoid synthetic fragrance and perfume. It might feel nice to put something on your skin that smells great, but the thing is, those ingredients, we have no idea what's in them. And that's because it's considered legally a trade secret. So companies don't need to disclose what ingredients they're putting into their fragrances and their perfumes. And there could be pro-drying alcohols. There could also be endocrine hormone disruptors. And who knows what else. So avoid them, avoid them, avoid them at all costs. They're also skin irritants. They're not going to do anything for you. They're just going to take away from your skin's health and beauty. So avoid the fragrance, avoid the perfume, and just normalize putting on products that don't have a scent. You also want to make sure that you're not buying something that says unscented. If it said unscented on the bottle, that would mean that there's actually a fragrance in there that just takes away all the scent. It's an unscented fragrance. So you want to avoid that. You need it to be fragrance free. And lastly, the hormone disruptors, the endocrine disruptors. There's lots of them on there. Parabens are a popular one. Phthalates are a popular one. There's one called DMDM high dantoin. I think I said that right. That's actually a formaldehyde releaser and it's used as a preservative. It's pretty old school, but sometimes I still see that popping up in ingredients labels. There's one called triclosan and BHA. So avoid the endocrine disruptors. Let me tell you, I had hormone positive cancer. It's not fun to have your hormones messed with. So avoid those at all costs. And if you're wondering exactly what my evening skincare routine looks like, how I apply my products, the order they go in, what I'm using, you can find that out right here.